Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I am very tired. The idiots above me just do not understand reality and want to be loud. Their TV was really loud last night. I ended up getting to bed at 2. Even in the bedroom with the door closed, I could hear their stupid TV. It's amazing how people in society don't see the whole picture, the big picture. They just see themselves. They're just selfish people. So I complained a couple times to management. I got to go over there and make sure it gets done. And it's too bad. I take care of me, not anybody else. So they have to understand the consequences. It's sort of like speeding, Well, I don't have to obey the speed limit, but if they don't, you can get a ticket. So we got to make sure they get a ticket. Then they'll understand and respect. If all of a sudden they owe an extra couple $100 for being loud, because that's the rules. That's the contract I signed. After I think it's 8 o'clock or for sure 10 o'clock, you got to be quiet. And, I just don't understand these people. I don't see them. If I did, I wouldn't talk to them anyway. I'd stoic them. Because people like this, you can't have a conversation with. They don't respect you. And so therefore there's no conversation. It's like the guy in the hot tub. I heard him yesterday in the locker room. I was going into the shower. You shower before you swim. So I took a quick shower and I heard him bitching at somebody else about his economic things that he doesn't understand. It's just funny how stupid he is. And then he's trying to come across like he's smart. He just doesn't get it. A second. So anyway, this is society's problem, right? And when they start losing their money, there'll be a lot of people being evicted here. Anyway, just the way people are. So the guy in the locker room, he was just spouting off about something, and I just was like in the shower and then ran into the pool, did my workout there before confronting him. I would have just went by him. I would not have talked to him. There's no point. He's like today. I could say today's Saturday. He'd say it's Sunday. What am I going to argue with him for? All right. We'll get into some economics later. Let's get into a recap of our gold and silver from yesterday. How did it end? So gold ended at 33.11, which we know is a fake number. We know it was 33.70 when China had it. And it's kind of ridiculous the way COMEX is, where different countries have it. Like China has it till about 2, 3 in the morning. Then Europe takes over till about 8 or 10. And then the US takes over at 10. And it's just, they all have their own little agenda. I don't know what US is thinking still with the derivatives. They got to be losing their ass because it's not going down where they can short it and then buy it lower. Because by the time they got in at 10 o'clock, it was 33. It's 33.25. So what did they get? 33.10. What did they get? $15 on the derivatives. It's not going to go down. So I don't know what they're doing. But the real thing is the silver, 35.98. It was 36.20 a good part of the day. So we are seeing silver rise. I think there's a point, and I don't know if it's 36 or 38, where it goes, and then it's 50, and then it's 100. And I think we're very, very close to it. I think the banks have shorted and shorted and shorted, and there's nothing left to short. They just don't have the money, or there's just way too much buying. Hard to say, but it is very positive. It's funny. When I go into the gold store, to the jewelry store, the guy goes, "Oh, when the gold goes down, nobody buys but me." Right? I'm the only one smart enough to buy when it's on sale. And when it goes up, people buy. And silver, I don't know if people will buy at 35.98. I guess they will, but I'm going to buy it because if it hits that trigger and now it's 50 or 100, there you go. I just tripled my money going from 36 to 100, right? And that's kind of my thought. It's got to break that point, and then it's going to run. So when I saw it at 36.23, I was anxious to go buy some gold. I think I'll go on Tuesday. They're closed Sunday and Monday. I get my Social Security tomorrow or Monday, and then I'll take that and reward myself. So people keep asking me, am I retired? And I'm kind of like, well, as soon as silver hits 3 digits, I'm retired. I got a lot of silver, a lot of gold, not a lot of gold, but I got a decent amount of gold. So that's really my retirement plan. Most people's retirement plans is these idiots put you in bonds and stocks, and the stocks you turn 50% into dividend stocks. So you're going to use the dividends to pay your bills, and the rest is still like Apple or Tesla or whatever, and you'll make money on it because they don't believe the market will crash because they're idiots. And that's your retirement. So the stocks will make you money. The dividends will pay your expenses, and then you have some money in bonds because they're safe, even though nobody will buy them and your dollar's worthless. And everybody's about to get crushed when the market crashes. When the foreigners start pulling their money out, your retirement is zero because your stocks will go down. The dividends, you'll still get those but the stock won't have much value. Profit, hey, I just sent you an email. Okay, I will read it. And then your bonds are worthless, and they're ignoring the $37 trillion debt. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. We can just keep printing and printing, and it won't matter. I mean, it's just amazing how stupid people are. And they're not stupid. They don't know any better. And when you're retiring, they get commission on it. So they're all in it for the commission. If they're in it, there's a few firms that say, oh, we don't charge commission. We just, if you make money, we make money, which is a total lie. Okay, are they putting you in gold? No. If they were putting you in gold, then they make a lot of money. So I was talking to the guy I looked at stocks for the year versus gold for the year. Gold for the year is up 46%. Right there, 1 year, 46%. Even 6 months, it's 26%. And yet the stock market, if we look at that, you want to compare. Let's see. I thought it gave a year. Here. It was up like 5%. Here you go. So here's the Dow for a year. 1 year, it's up 10%, right? 1 year, Dow, 10%. 1 year, gold, 46%. This is what the guy in the hot tub was trying to tell me. Oh no, the stocks are up much more than gold. And I know I had seen that. I knew I didn't remember the exact numbers because I don't really care what the exact numbers are, but I basically said, no, that's not true. So if these financial planners actually are trying to make money, we don't make money on commissions. We make money if you make money. They'd have everybody in gold, but I'm sure they don't. So just food for thought. You basically can't lose in gold because they can't print it. That's always the golden rule, and people don't understand that. They'll just say it's been around for 5,000 years. Well, yeah, it has. And the reason is because they can't print it. So there was a new discovery in Argentina, Colombia area. As I said, it was like 1,000 tons, which is 332,000 ounces. Like, I don't know how they know that, but they said it'll take years to just open the mine and dig the mine without all the legal stuff with the governments to even start taking the gold out of the ground. So it might be a discovery, but it doesn't matter. And it's certainly not going to affect the gold price in any way. It's only 1,000 tons. They normally get 3,000 tons out of the earth every year, but that's drying up. They just can't find, that's what they've already found. That's all dug up now. The only gold left to mine, which means we will not get 3,000 tons a year, they have to dig deeper and find it and then dig it out. Well, good luck. You've been in the mine for years. You've dug it up. There's just nothing left. So keep that in mind. Just sit back. But it's very exciting. Silver is at 36 basically, and it saw 36 and a quarter. So next week will be interesting to see if we get it to 37 or 38. And we can go from there. All right, let's look at baseball. We have basketball tomorrow. I mean, it's so stupid. We'll play Wednesday night or Thursday night, and I think it was Wednesday. And then we'll play Sunday. And we'll see if anybody's still watching by Sunday. All right. Let's start yesterday. We started with Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay won. There we go. Off to a good start. Pitt under 9. Pitt was a 5-4 game, so it's a push at under 9. We have Washington, I believe, over. Washington had to be under 9 too, so that's a winner. 2-0 Washington. Texas just doesn't hit. Washington, yeah, I had to go under. The two-star game, the Yankees over 7. They win 9-6. I thought that was an easy one. The Yankees at home against Boston, they're going to hit better. Arizona over 9.5. I don't know where that one went. I had the Cubs over 7 with Detroit, and I lost that one as Detroit won 3-1. I thought they'd hit Ben Brown better, which they didn't, and the Cubs got one run off of, I don't even know if it was School or the reliever. Little different. Cleveland over 8.5, lost 4-2. That's a loser. Minnesota we played, and I don't know where they went. The White Sox, KC. KC under 8 is a loser. They lost 7-2. 7 runs for the White Sox. Toronto, Minnesota. Toronto wins 6-4. Milwaukee under 8 against San Diego. San Diego wins 2-0. They've been playing a lot of low-scoring games. St. Louis We have St. Louis. They do win 5-0. That was a huge underdog against the Dodgers. They shut them out. Sonny Gray, again, going against Roblisky, who's 1-2 with a 7.20 ERA. We bet on St. Louis with Sonny Gray. That was a good one. The Mets over Colorado. The Mets win 4-2. That's a winner. St. Louis. No, what do we got? Seattle and California. Don't have that one. I don't know. California won 5-4. Oakland 5-4. We have them over. Looks like 8, and they win 5-4-9. That's a winner. San Francisco under 7.5. No, under 10. That's a winner. 5-4. They lose. They win 5-4, but it's under 10, so it's a winner, I believe. God, I wrote it in a small spot, so I can't tell. Arizona, Cincinnati was postponed. And that's it. So we lost KC. We won the Yankees. We lost the Cubbies. What do we do? Cleveland over 8.5. It was an under. Did we go Cleveland over? Yeah. Cleveland was 4-2 Houston. So we lost Cleveland. We lost Minnesota, and the 49ers over, we won. So pretty mild day. Couple of strange picks. All right, let's go. Today is 6-7. And we'll see. So Scooble does get the win. Cleveland doesn't hit Colton Gordon. The White Sox beat KC 7-2. Toronto beats Minis 6-4. San Diego plays another low-scoring game 2-0. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers 5-0. The Jets beat Colorado 4-2, and California beat Seattle 5-4. Oakland 5-4 over Baltimore. They play a lot of high-scoring games, and because they got they're in Sacramento, and the stadium's very low, so it's good for hitting. And the Niners 5-4 over Atlanta. The Niners are playing pretty well. The Yanks 9-6 over the Red Sox. Washington, Texas. Texas is not scoring. Pittsburgh beats Philly 5-4, and Tampa beats Miami 4-3. Now, why did I say all that? It's because you kind of want to see the way they're playing, right? So Yankees Boston was high scoring yesterday. Now, unless it's Freed, we're probably going to go over with it. All right, so we start 1:10. It's 11:30. We start Cubbies, Detroit. And it's Detroit 42-23, Cubs 39-24. This is a good team. The Cubs are favored today, 120, 8.5. James Tollian 5-3 with the 3.76 against Tyler Holton, who's a reliever, 2-2 with the 4.13. I don't understand these managers playing this reliever crap. I'm going to go under with the game. Let's go Cubs. I'm not going to bet it. Cubs under 8.5. Why? Because Detroit doesn't hit good pitching, right? So Detroit will probably get 1 run. I mean, we're seeing this a lot from Detroit lately, where they face a good pitcher and they're getting 1 run. And it just shows you that the manager's not looking at averages. He's using this left-right thing. So if a lefty pitches, he pulls his best hitters and puts the righties in who are hitting like 100. They can't hit. They don't score. And that's what happens. So this manager's like what worked last year is not working this year. Now, yeah, they've got some wins, but it won't last. They'll go into a slump, and they'll probably lose 18 out of 20. And then we'll see the real Tigers. Right now, Scooble got the win yesterday. I doubt they'll win today. Toronto plays Minnesota. They're both 34-29. Toronto 110-8. Games in Minnesota. Toronto won yesterday. Kevin Gausman for Toronto 5-4 with a 3.82. Chris Paddock, 2-5 with the 3.58. I'm going to go under in this game also. Neither team really is hitting. I mean, that's why you look at the streak. Some teams hit and then they don't, and then they hit and they don't. And just like players, some players will be hitting 320, and then next thing you know, they're down to 270. Look at Aaron Judge, was all the way into the 415s, and now he's back to like 370. It's going to happen to every player because they're going to run into pitchers they can hit. They're going to get tired. It's just the nature of playing 162 games. You can't be strong every game. And, so you just got to do it. There's a lot less injuries in baseball unless you get hit by the pitch and maybe you break a finger or something. But normally they don't do a whole lot of athletics in baseball. The outfielders run, once in a blue moon when the ball is hit to them. The infielders do very little. They catch a ground ball. They maybe go out for a cutoff. I mean, this is not an athletic game where you're going to get a lot of injuries. The pitchers get the injuries because they try to throw curveballs and their elbows can't take it, and they haven't learned. Just throw fastballs, throw some change-ups. You don't need to spin the ball because it really is a hard torque on your elbow. So they haven't learned yet. All right, Toronto under 8. The Dodgers at the Cardinals. The Cardinals won 5-0 yesterday. It's amazing when the Dodgers don't hit because they got Suzuki and they got, I think, Mookie Betts, and then they got Freddie Freeman, and they got a couple other hitters. So when you shut them out, that you shake your head going, are they really that good? The Dodgers are 38-26. The Cardinals are 35-28. I don't buy that the Dodgers are this super team that's going to win the World Series here. I would bet they wouldn't win the World Series because they don't have the pitching. Kershaw sucks. Here's a guy, Shumu Mahuta. Looks like he's a wrestler, 6'4", 239. Against Eric Feedy, 3-5 with a 3.82. I don't think they'll hit Feedy. The Tigers hit Feedy. I don't know how good this Yamamoto with a 2.39 ERA is. Let's look at his last 3 games. His last 3 games have been shit. He against the Yankees, 3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. Cleveland, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. Oakland, 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. Arizona, 6 innings, gave up 5 runs. So this guy's bullshit ERA. So I don't like him -1 on. Feedy's okay. 8.5. Cardinals will hit him. The Dodgers, after getting shut out, Feedy's okay. Didn't do well against the Tigers. I'm going to go over in this game, even though I should go under. Over 8.5. I think after the shutout, they'll hit better. I don't trust them to win because I don't buy this guy Yamakuto's 2.39 ERA is bullshit. Feedy 3-5, 3.82. So I think there'll be runs in this game. Forget the shutout. Yeah, there was the shutout, but I think that's what'll happen. Atlanta and the 49ers. 49ers won yesterday. 49ers are favored 155-7. Bryce Elder, 2-3 with the 4.56 for Atlanta. Logan Webb, 5-5 with the 2.55. Total of 7. Frisco just doesn't hit. I can't take Bryce Elder to win 4.56. Logan Webb, 5-5 with the 2.55. Let's see the hitting. Well, Frisco's got 4 hitters, and Atlanta has 4 hitters. It's just 7. I'm going to go over. It's just 7. Atlanta over 7. I'm not going to bet it. I'll let the bets come to me. I think I found a few here. Here we go. Pitt and Philly. Philly 37-26. Pitt 24-40. Philly won 68.5. They did well without Bryce Harper. He's back. Ranger Suarez, our Ranger, 4-0 with a 2.72, but it's better than that. Andrew Heaney, 3-4 with a 3.39. We're going under in this game. And this one we will bet Ranger Suarez under 8.5. I look for the Ranger to shut them out. Pittsburgh's got no hitting. And Philly's not really been hitting the ball too well either. So I like the under in this game. 2 units. Texas, Washington. Texas 185 and 8. Jacob deGrom, here we go, 5-2 with the 2.34 against Mitchell Parker, 4-5 with the 4.71. We're going to go Texas and deGrom. This will be 2 units. They don't hit. Probably an under game, but Parker with the 4.71. Texas is 8. It's probably an under, and you got to go with deGrom, who's pitching well. Arizona. All that matters is how are they pitching like the last month. That's all you really care about. We do it in football where we look at the last, when we get near the end, where we get to like week 14, we start looking at the last 7 games because the first 3 are bullshit because these idiots do not do preseason anymore. They don't get their players in shape. And so the first 3 weeks, it's preseason, which skews all the trends because they might give up 30 points a game and then they get the rhythm, or they might not score because they're out of shape, and then they start scoring. So if I look at the last 7 games, it's one weird tasting avocado. If I look at the last 7 games, and now we're at week 14, I get a much truer composition of the team. And then you kind of see, did they play Kansas City or Denver or San Diego or Baltimore or Buffalo? How did they do against them? That was always the case with the Lions. They would beat these shit teams, and then they'd get in against Baltimore, and they'd lose 35-0, and go, that's the team. Well, they had an off day. I love how the fucking radio guys, well, it was an off day. Yeah, it's just a one-off. Yeah, because they played a good team. Just amazing how you can just ignore it. It's like the stock market crashes 500 points or 1,000 points. Yeah, it's just tariffs. It's not real. Like that. Well, let's ignore a critical game. All right. So we played Texas, and Arizona goes against Cincinnati. Arizona 110, 9.5. Ryan Nelson, 2-1 with the 3.43, goes against Nick Martinez, 3-6 with the 3.89. Both kind of mid-3 ERAs. How do you play it? Well, let's look. Arizona, I know, hits the ball. They got 7 hitters. Cincinnati, I think, hits the ball. They got 4 hitters. 3 bad hitters. So it's almost like 6. They got like 2 guys hitting 230, 240, which it doesn't fit under 225 and it doesn't fit over 255. So they're just maybes. So there should be some hitting going on with these pitchers. 3-6 Martinez, Ryan Nelson, 2-1 with the 3.43. I'd say we got to go over here. No bet. Arizona over 9.5. All right. We got Miami, Tampa Bay won yesterday, I think 4-3 or 5-4. Tampa's a 145 favorite, 8.5. Tampa Bay, 34 wins. Miami only 23. Ryan Weathers, 1-1 with a 2.49 against Ty Bradley, 4-5 with a 3.95. Let's see, is Ryan Weathers real? Or is he a one-hit wonder? All right, he's played in 4 games, 5 innings, 5, 6. He gave up 1 run, 0 run, or 2 runs, and 4 runs. 4 runs against the Niners is not good. San Diego giving up 2 runs is good. And then the Cubbies, he gave up 1 run. But again, he's only pitching 5 innings. So he's a decent pitcher for 4 games, which is not really enough. Ty Bradley. Let's go under then. So we'll go T-Bay under 8.5. I'm not going to bet it, but Yeah, this looks to be more. Well, let's see. What do I got? I got Tampa Bay. Now got 5 hitters, and they're playing Miami, who they had 7 hitters, is now down to 3 hitters. So Miami's not hitting, or they got injuries. So yeah, the under looks really good there. Houston and Cleveland, old AFC North battle. Houston minus 120 and 7. Hunter Brown, I like 8-3 with the 183 against Gavin Williams, 5-3 with the 379. And this is going to be our 3-star play today. Houston under 7. And this will be 3 units. Cleveland doesn't hit. Very good bullpen. Gavin Williams, 379. Houston, not a big hitting team besides Altuve, and Hunter Brown, 8-3 with the 183. Cleveland won't hit much. Houston won't hit much. This is the game of the day here. KC at Chicago. The White Sox have been hot. They beat Detroit 2 out of 4. They now beat KC yesterday. Even though they're 21-14, they all go through streaks, and that's what you're looking at. Red hits and then black hits. So when black hits, you bet black. And then red starts hitting, you bet red. And that's the idea here. So the White Sox are crap. Now they got a little better hitting. They beat Detroit twice, and then here they beat Kansas City. They're getting emotional. They're starting to play better. Don't ignore it. KC 140-8. Michael Wacha, who almost no-hit the Tigers last game, 3-4 at the 288. He had him no-hit through 7, and then I think in the 8th, the guy got a hit on him. And then, of course, the manager pulled him. Against Adrian Hauser, 1-1 with a 147. The White Sox they're not going to hit Wacha. Let's see what this Hauser is. From Oklahoma. Sooner Boomer. He's only pitched in 3 games, 6 innings. Shutout against Seattle, shutout against the Mets, and 3 runs against Baltimore. It's really strange. So he's for real. Their bullpen, I don't know. But they're playing well. So I'm going to go under here. Definitely. White Sox under 8. We'll go 2 units. We don't want to get too excited, but I like Wacha, almost no-hit the Tigers. So, again, we remember the guy in Houston who no-hit the Tigers last year. So we keep that in mind, especially when they're playing the Tigers. Boston and the Yankees. Yankees 39 wins, Boston 30. Boston 110-75. In New York, surprising, Garrett Croquet, 5-4 with a 198 against Ryan Yarbrough, 3-0 with a 283. On the top, it looks under. Let's see, Yarbrough has pitched a lot. He's a bullpenner who's now on the thing. So if we go to his last 5 games, because that's when he's not bullpenning, gives up a run to Tampa, 2 runs to Oakland, a run to Texas, a run to California, and a run to the Dodgers. And he's won his 4 out of his last 5, beating Oakland, Texas, California, and the Dodgers. He was a bullpen guy. He looks this should be he's for real with the 283. Crochet, I know, is good. We got to go under here. We're going to go Yankees under 7.5. We're not going to bet it because they hit too well, but we are going to go under in the game. You can bet it. It's probably a good one to bet. San Diego and Milwaukee. San Diego is playing all these low-scoring games, even though they got all the hitting. San Diego, the last check I did, are down to 5 hitters, and Milwaukee is 4 hitters. So San Diego had 7 hitters. They must have got injured or something, or they hit slumps. San Diego 105, 8.5. Stephen Kolek, 3-1, 347 against Jose Quintano, 4-1 with the 277. I would say this is another under 8.5. Now, keep in mind, they play 162 games. They're getting tired. They've now played 60, 64, 62 games here. The players start wearing down. They start getting tired. Uh, so it becomes you're not going to hit as well. You're not going to pitch as well. You're just tired of doing the same. It's like eating Chinese food every day. You just get tired of it. But playing baseball every day, it just becomes monotonous. So I think you'll start seeing mental lapses. You'll start seeing hitters who are good start slumping, and the ones that are bad who really, I better start hit. But you'll see a lot of averages drop. It's just they're tired. So I like the under here. San Diego. Let's play it for 2 units. Seattle against California. California has been a team on the rise. They're 29 wins. Seattle 32 wins. Luis Castillo from 3 with the 3.03 goes against Jack Kakanowitz 3-7 with the 5.34. He sucks. I'm going to go Seattle. He pitched against the Tigers, couldn't even throw strikes, so he's a choker. So we'll go with Castillo, and we're going to go 2 units on Seattle. The Mets in Colorado. Well, obviously the Mets. Colorado's up to 12 wins because they swept Miami. How bad is Miami? We did play Tampa today. We played them under, but it's almost just Colorado. Yeah, they can't beat UCLA right now. So Tampa Bay 40. The Mets have 40 wins. Colorado 12. We got the Mets 285-11. Clay Holmes 6-3 with the 307 against Carson Palmquist 0-4 with an 8.50. I mean, this is, you got to go with the Mets. I mean, how can you not? You'll take the Mets for 2 units. And I know they're 285, but the total of 11, I don't. They're not going to hit homes, and the Mets are going to kill Colorado. So it's going to be, they could get to 11, but they could get to 9. They could beat them 9-0, but we know the Mets will win the game. And the last game, Baltimore at Oakland. Baltimore 125, 10.5. Charlie Morton, who's terrible, 2-7 with the 6.20. Luis Servino 1-5 with the 4.54. We're going over Oakland. Over 10.5. I'm not going to bet it. I think the number is a little too high, but I can see them going over. I think they went over yesterday. So let's go through it. Let's see, the White Sox. All right, let's go through it. Cubs under 7.5 against the Tigers. Toronto under 8. The Dodgers over 8.5. Atlanta over 7. Philly under 8. That's 2 units. Texas 2 units. Take it to Jacob deGrom. Arizona over 9.5. Tampa Bay under 8.5. Houston under 7, 3 units. That's our big play for the day. The White Sox under 8, 2 units. The Yankees under 7.5. 2 good pitchers going. San Diego under 8.5, 2 units. Seattle 2 units. The Mets 2 units. And Oakland over 10.5. No bet there. So the bets: Philly under 8.5, Texas with deGrom, Houston under 7, White Sox under 8, San Diego under 8.5, Seattle and the Mets. That be baseball today. Keep your eye on the streaks. Let's look and see what our streaks are. So if you go into standings on here and you turn it, you can see over here it says streak, right there. and you can see what's going on. And then you can see the last 10 over here. And so 7-3, 3-7. So you're looking, Tampa Bay's on a 4-game win streak, for example. The Yankees in Tampa are 7-3 the last 10. Toronto's 8-2 the last 10, and Boston's 3-7. So Boston plays the Yankees today. The Yankees are 7-3, Boston's 3-7. How much weight do we put in it? A little bit. It still goes down to the pitchers, who's pitching, and then if it shows Yankees, we would bet it. I won't bet the Yankees just because they're 7-3, 3-7, but I will look at it. Maybe 9-1 teams. In the next division, Detroit 7-3, Cleveland, KC, and the White Sox are 4-6. Doesn't tell you anything. No streaks in the AL West. You got Oakland is 2-8. Seattle and Texas 3-7, and Houston is 7-3. But again, it's not enough to really go on. We're looking for like a 9-1, 10-0 streak. In the National League East, Atlanta and Miami are on 5-game losing streaks, and they're 2-8 their last 10. So you might bet Atlanta. And so we took Tampa, and I don't know who Atlanta's playing, but I think we took the total in the game. The Central, nothing going on. Milwaukee is 8-2 the last 10, but that's wins and losses, not totals. And in the last division, we've got Arizona on a 4-game win streak. And that's it. Colorado's 3-7 on their last 10. They're fucking 12-51, their last 63. So that's more important than that. So as you can see, it ebb and flows. There's really not anything there that would jump on it. It's more or less at this stage in the season. As the season progresses and we're in August, now you look, they're 9-1. They got hot. Every team will get hot. NFL, let's look at any news. Anthony Richardson's injury, another hurdle for any breakout. Geez, I wonder why Anthony. So he hurt his shoulder, right? And it's still bothering him, and he probably can't throw. And he's not a quarterback. He's another one that I'd put at wide receiver. I don't understand. Like these running quarterbacks, of course they're going to get injured. So why are you surprised? Why would you have a running quarterback? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Lamar runs out of bounds, but Lamar can't throw the ball 5 yards. So he's another problem child. All these I would throw as wide receivers. Jalen Hurts, Lamar, Richardson. I'd put them at slot receiver. They would not be my quarterback, right? They'd be my wide receiver because they're fast and they're good athletes. That's what I want. Hines Ward. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't make them quarterbacks. You need somebody who can actually throw the ball to the receivers. You got Jerry Rice. You want Joe Montana throwing to him, not Anthony Richardson. Eagles trade Huff to 49ers 1 year after signing him for $51 million. So the Eagles are eating a lot of that salary, I would imagine, in this trade. Now, they did get some drafts. The Eagles drafted 3 or 4 defensive players. Prime Jr. didn't take first-team reps but had OTA highlights. Why are we doing so much of Prime Jr.? He sucks. He's not even taking first-team reps and OTA, and but he had highlights. He completed a pass in his T-shirt and shorts. Really? Let's see. Offensive lineman Tom Rafferty dies. It's too bad. Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields swap teams will face off. So Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers. I think they'll be, if there's still 3. I mean, that's a joke. If you can get if you can get Pittsburgh only laying 3, and we'll check the line, that's a joke. I mean, see, that's why when I first go through these lines, I have to, now here's new data. Now I got Aaron Rodgers. Well, wait, with Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh's a 7-point favorite, not a 3. You don't like Aaron Rodgers. That's fine. That's your thing. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Derek Carr, McLaurin, frustrated with lack of progress toward contract. Well, of course he is, but he has the opportunity to play with Jalen Daniels, so he shouldn't be too frustrated. I see that the Niners drafted a few receivers. They need them. Losing Deebo Samuel and then that guy last year, Pearsall, is terrible. So I don't know why they drafted him. I didn't think he was a good pick then. Let's see. The Giants position breakdown. All right, Tyrone Tracy leads an intriguing running back group. Who the fuck is Tyrone Tracy? Backups, Devin Singletary, Cam Scatterboo. Why are you backing up Scatterboo when he's better than Tracy? Eric Gray, Dante Miller, Rushan Baker. None of them are pros but Scatterbird. Tracy at 1,100 yards from scrimmage, but that includes passing, not just running. If they start Tracy and not Scatterboo, fans still expect to see a good amount of Singleton and Scatterboo. Really? Scatterboo should be your starter. All right, so nothing much. Let's look at the line. Let's see what happened let's go through the lines here. Christmas in June. Let's talk a little football. Anything change? Let's see. Philly 746.5 hasn't moved. KC 2.5, 44.5 hasn't moved. Jacksonville 2.5, 46.5. It was 3.5. 2.5, I don't know, and then 46.5. I think that's what we moved it to. Interesting. Who would bet on that junk? The Giants, Washington 745.5. Now here's where I liked Washington laying the 1. Now, depending on what they do with Scatterboo, if they start Tracy, I love Washington. Scatterboo scares me. They got Russell Wilson, a total of 45. But Washington has no defense. This is becoming a better over with Russell Wilson against Daniels than Jackson Dart. So like the over more in this game. Pitt and the Jets, it's still 339.5. Now we have to go Pitt with Rodgers against Fields. I mean, what a joke that is, right? Rodgers against Fields, and it's only 3 points. Wow. Absolutely crazy. So you gotta love Pitt there because now you got a huge quarterback advantage. You got a huge coaching advantage. You got a huge defense advantage. That's it. You've got the 3 things you need. This avocado tastes a funny taste. Not that it's real sweet anyway, but this has a strange taste to it. Anyway, so Pitt -3. Take Pitt +3. They'll beat the Jets. You don't have to lay points. This is where I don't understand you guys betting money lines as opposed to teasers. The teaser is the better play here. You get Pitt +3. Even if they lose the game, they're not going to lose by more than 3 with Aaron Rodgers and the defense. And yet you'll money line it, and your odds will be worse than the 11-10. And they can lose by 1 or 2, and you lose. But if you tease, you get 3 points. So I really don't understand why anybody money lines when you can tease 6 points in football. Money line has to be the worst bet ever in at least pro football. Although I think they'll win, but they won't win by 1 or 2. Like, come on. Arizona 4.5, 41.5. Hasn't moved. It was 43, I think. New Orleans, we saw they've got that running back. We'll see if Jake Hayner's the quarter. Again, we got to see who the quarterback is. Arizona got some defensive help in the draft. Doesn't mean anything. Let's see him on the field. They got Marvin Harrison. He stinks. So I don't know. Again, into New Orleans at home. We'll see. Their coach sucks, so it's tough like that. New England, 2.5, 42.5. 42.5, 42.5. 2.5, 42.5. Shut the fucking dog up, please. See, I don't mind he barks, but he barks for 10 minutes. Like, shut him up. He shouldn't be there. You're not paying for the dog. It's not even his dog. So I don't know why she brings the dog. She can't. It's crazy. So New England 2.5, 42.5. You got to like Oakland. I think with Coach Pete, they'll just run Gentry 50 times a game and play Max Crosby. New England really no offense. Drake May's terrible. We will see. Miami, Indy 1.5, 45.5 hasn't really moved. And now Richardson's got the hurt shoulder. If he doesn't play, Miami's got Tagliavoa, who's absolutely terrible. The best player in the field is Tyreek Hill. Indy needs help. Without Richardson, I don't remember who their backup quarterback is. We'll see. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Cincinnati, 5.5, 45.5. You got to love Joe Burrow. Cleveland, are they going to go with Kenny Pickett or are they going to go with Dylan Gabriel? They might start Pickett the first game and then let Gabriel get used to it. That's what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily start Gabriel, but he's a lot better than Pickett, so maybe I go that route. Joe Burrow, they will not start off flat this year. Look for them to start big, killing Cleveland. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay is now down to 1.5, 48.5, down from 2.5. Love Atlanta with Penix, the 2 new defensive players, Bijan Robinson. They're saying now Drake London can have a big year. Well, if he gets open, Penix will put it right on his numbers. I'm shocked Atlanta's the dog in this game. They should be favored. See here, why would you money line Atlanta plus 1.5 when you can take them plus 7.5 and the odds of winning go to from 50-50 to 95-5? I mean, Atlanta plus 7.5 is a joke. Why would you money line it? And it's 11-2, 11-10 profit. I wonder what quarterback the Browns will release. I don't know. The problem by picking Prime Junior is they'll be less apt to release Prime Junior, right? Because then you got to face Prime, and Prime will be crying and bitching and moaning. Oh, they didn't give my son a chance. I hate to break it to you. Nobody thinks he's any good because he's not. They should never have drafted Prime Junior, but you're not releasing Gabriel. That would be idiotic. You got Kenny Pickett, who's really a third stringer. So what do you do with him? But you need him as the backup for Gabriel. So I'm not quite sure. I think they'll just put Prime Junior as the third quarterback or the emergency quarterback, maybe. But then you got, I think, don't they have Joe Flacco? So maybe you release Pickett, and that depends how Flacco. He's 50 years. I love how everybody says, well, Aaron Rodgers is 39. Joe Flacco is what, 42, 43? And by the way, Tom Brady was 45. I don't like the age play. I think that's ridiculous. Where are we? San Francisco, Seattle, Frisco, 1.5, 45.5. You got to love Frisco in this game. Purdy, you have McCaffrey. They signed a running back from Oregon, who's a huge addition. You've added some receivers, which is good to go with Ayuk. If Ayuk can even play, I'm not sure he's ready. Deebo Samuel is gone, so they need receivers for their offense. But the key's McCaffrey. He plays, and then they've added 3 or 4 defensive players. And if they're any good, then they'll be really tough. Shanahan's okay. They love him. He chokes. Seattle, I don't like their coach at all. I don't know. He was a Michigan defensive coordinator and from the Baltimore Ravens. He's not a head coach. So I like Frisco, only at 1.5. Yeah, 4.5 from Frisco. They're not losing that game. Tennessee, Denver. Denver, 7.5, 41.5, up from 7. And I had a 43.5. But I might be on scores and odds looking at different lines. Denver, you can probably get a 7. You got to love Denver. First of all, who's Tennessee's quarterback? Will Levis or Cam Ward? Either one. They both suck, especially against this tough Denver defense, especially in Denver. Bo Nix, he's got a running back they added. And Esteem from Notre Dame, who was their running back last year, should get better. He's got some receivers, and they got a very good defense, and they got Sean Payton. So I love Denver here at home. This is, and again, why money line it? Just tease it down to 1.5. Why would you need a money line it, right? Tease it to 1.5. Whoa, they're only going to win by 1? Really? If you're thinking that, you shouldn't be betting football. You should be able to pick the score. If you can't pick the score reasonably, you shouldn't be betting football. I give you the scores, and I'm pretty damn close on most of them, not all of them. Houston goes to L.A. to play the Rams, Stafford. L.A. 2.5, 46.5, down from 3.5. And 46.5. Houston, the killer defense, C.J. Stroud. Rams with Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Pukanuka. Look for Stafford to have some big games here. Houston, very good defense. Should be a lower scoring game with that. And really no offense. They need a quarterback. Oh, they got C.J. Stroud. Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. Detroit at Green Bay. Green Bay still a 1.5 favorite, 49.5. You would have thought it would have changed because the Lions center retired because of injuries. Their defense still sucks. You got new offensive and defensive coordinators who are not very good. They're inexperienced. It's not a plug and play. So I don't know. Their defense sucked anyway. The coordinator got worse. Hutchinson probably won't play till October, maybe, probably November. He broke his leg in 2 parts, tibia and fibia, and he's just not a problem? Yeah, sure. I don't think so. And if I was the other teams, I'd be going after that leg every play. I mean, I would get him. So I don't know. He had to lose a step. You can't break your bones and just the same as before. There's got to be a little psychological trauma where he's not as aggressive. He's worried about people at his legs and everything else. So I don't smell what they're cooking there. So the Lions defense is pretty bad. The Ohio State pick's terrible. He'll be nothing. So I don't really, get it. Oh yeah. The GM's the superstar. Yeah. In his own mind. So I like the game over because Detroit should still be able to score even with the center out and then Green Bay, but look for Green Bay to blitz a lot more up the middle. They know Goff cannot handle that, and whoever they put in at center is not as good as this guy who was all pro. So you're losing an all pro for who? And this is where the Lions are really screwed up. They're wasting money on their right tackle. You pay money on your left tackle. The right tackle is just an average player. He's not a stud. So you've got this guy out of position. Uh, the right tackle should be the center then, right? You don't need to pay a lot for a right tackle. I mean, the quarterback, um, a right-handed quarterback can see what's coming at him. And so therefore, I don't need this all pro at right tackle and the guy at left tackle who you're paying a lot. So I either move my right tackle to center or I get rid of him. He's good. I don't argue he's good. That's not the point. It's a position of you'd rather have a defensive end and a linebacker than the right tackle. That's my point. So the defense suffers, and then the right tackle is good, but who cares? I mean, there's nobody there. Their best rusher's on the left side getting the quarterback's blind spot. So you don't need that great of a right tackle, and nobody else has one, and you're wasting $30 million a year on a right tackle, but then you don't have a center. Very bad planning by the Lions. I think this game's an over now that I've lost the center. I still think they'll be able to move on offense because Green Bay's defense isn't that good. But I do like this this game over. Detroit should score, can't hold them. Green Bay should score and probably can't. Now, they added this Golden from Texas, this wide receiver, who didn't show up in the Georgia game, by the way. So, I just think Jordan Love very overrated. Average quarterback, not much better than Sam Darnold. And that's the problem. This is now like a very weak division. You have J.J. McCarthy at Minnesota, who's terrible. You got Love, who's average. Caleb, who's terrible. And Goff, who's average. And it ain't the best division in football. I'd say the Eagles and the Redskins. And if the Giants play scatterboo, and then you got Dallas there. I think they are. In the West, it's San Francisco and LA. And then the South, it's Atlanta now. Atlanta and Tampa. So you got a little more good teams in the league. Baltimore, Buffalo 1.5, 51.5. Got to love over in this game. This is a joke. Neither team's defense is that good, and Lamar gets you points. He doesn't win games, but he gets you points. And Josh Allen at home will light it up. Both teams should light it up, even though it is week one. I would think these are experienced quarterbacks. They should you're looking at 45. That's a joke. So Detroit, I would think, is an over also at 48. You go over 42. 24-20, I think you should get that, although it is week one. And our last game is Chicago somehow favored 1.5, 44.5 to the Bears, to the Vikings. If J.J. McCarthy's so good, why are they a dog at Chicago? Caleb sucks. We know. The wide receiver they drafted, we don't understand. You have Roma Oduzzi, who is nothing. And then you had C.J. Moore, I believe, or something like that, as their receiver, who's very good. Caleb can't throw. They brought in these linemen, but the line doesn't work like that. The line's a unit. All five guys. You can't bring in one guard and pay him a lot. Pisses off the other offensive players. But, he can't. All they got to do is blitz you, and Minnesota does a lot of blitzing. You can't. If I put in 7 guys on a blitz, you only got 5 blockers. I don't care how good they are. They cannot cover 7 guys. And that's what the Bears are still going to run into, is Caleb running around with his head cut off. Bears, very good defense. Minnesota, very good defense. So you have no quarterback and 2 good defenses. This is definitely probably an under. I would not take Minnesota in some half, but I can't see the Bears even winning the game, especially by a lot. So we will see how bad J.J. McCarthy is. We know Caleb stinks. But for what Minnesota's doing with J.J. McCarthy, I'm just shocked. There's, Nobody knows these guys better than me. I watched him at Michigan. I'm in Detroit. He did nothing that would have made me think he's a first round draft pick and he's a starter in the NFL. He shouldn't have been a starter at Michigan. The other guy got hurt or transferred to Iowa, McNamara, who got him into the playoff. So I really don't see why McCarthy's the starter here. He's a backup at best. All he does is hand off. The Ohio State game, just bad officiating. He threw an interception. They called it a touchdown. That's absolutely ridiculous. I couldn't believe that call stood. So I'm not buying any of this. So you got two bad quarterbacks. Now, were we surprised that Sam Darnold played well? Of course. Can McCarthy play as well as Sam Darnold? I doubt it. Sam Darnold's not very good, but he had played 5-6 years in the league as a third stringer. And then he started picking it up with Minnesota. I certainly wouldn't have let him go for McCartney because McCartney, there's no way, is better than Darnold, and Darnold stinks. So I'm really surprised by this move because I don't think he's better than Darnold. And he's injured. He hurt his knee. So will he even be ready to go? He hurt it in preseason. So it'll be a year come September. But he had a knee injury, and he was injured a lot at Michigan. I'd say at most he plays in 6 games, and he'll be out. He'll be one of these guys that's always injured because he always was. He was injured a lot at Michigan. So I don't know. I'm not buying it. So that's what we have. I'll start filling in the starting quarterbacks as we get to it. I don't know what to do. Here's where I get a little bit caught in using last year's defensive stats. Look at Philadelphia. They let a few guys go. They got draft picks. All we know is KC will be a good team. San Diego should have a good defense. Dallas, Micah Parsons. I love how Micah Parsons goes to Penn State. So now anybody who's at Penn State who's a decent linebacker is Micah Parsons. Like, who was it? The Giants, I think, drafted the guy out of Penn State. Like, oh, he's Micah Parsons. I mean, it doesn't work like that. So Dallas, I'm not sure what they are. Philly, strong defense. KC, strong defense. San Diego, strong defense. Carolina, Z team, no defense. Jacksonville, terrible team. The Giants, they might not be a Z team if they go to Scatterboo instead of the running back they had. And then they need to have Russell Wilson, but this offense is terrible. So let's say you go to Russell Wilson. It's going to take him. He's not as bad as they think. I was surprised Pitt let him go, not knowing if Rodgers was back. He would have been better than Will Howard. So now you got Will Howard who can sit and learn from Rodgers. That was a pretty good move if Rodgers will teach him, which Rodgers doesn't like to do. Washington, we know they're an over team. Great quarterback. Say great quarterback 1 year. He doesn't need 5 years to be a great quarterback like Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence. Well, we'll give him 1 more year. Daniels came in, boom. Penix came in, Bo Nix. They don't need 5 years. Pitt, great defensive team. We'll see what Rodgers does. They added Caleb Johnson, running back from Iowa, DK Metcalf. They could be a very good team. The JETSs, I don't think they'll win a game next year. Not with Fields, not with the new coach who really doesn't know what he's doing. They could be the worst team in the league. It's going to be between them, Carolina, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indy for the worst team in the league. Those guys. Well, maybe New Orleans, maybe without their quarterback, but Hayner's a good quarterback, so I'm not going to sell them out. Arizona, they got Kyler Murray, but you never know what that means. Some games he runs all over the place and puts up 30, and then the next game he gets shut out. So I don't know. He's okay, a runner. They don't have too many receivers. Their defense sucks, but they did draft defense. That doesn't mean anything, but we'll see. New Orleans, terrible offensive coordinator, very weak head coach. You've got Hayner, you've got Kamara, you got Olave. So you have talent on the offense and some on the defense. So they shouldn't be this bad, but they are. Oakland, fairly good defense. Crosby, they did add a few people. Still wait to be seen. Offensively, I look at Gentry to get the ball 40 times a game, play ball control. Coach Pete, like Marshawn Lynch, he's going to ball control you and play defense on you. So look for Oakland to be an under this year. And that's where the coach comes in. All of a sudden, Sean Payton goes to Denver, and now they're more of an offensive team with the killer defense. And then Coach Pete comes in, who's always a defensive coach. So we will see. New England, I don't know. I like the coach. Very good defensive mind. I think New England will be a very good defensive team. Drake May's terrible, wants to run, put him at wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. So look for them to be an under team also. Miami, no defense, just tag. It's Tyreek Hill. Waddle's not turned into anything because none of the Alabama receivers turned into anything. So I don't know. They're probably more of an over. Indy, I don't know what they'll be. If Richardson doesn't play, who's their backup? And their defense is kind of weak. They're a pretty weak team. Cincinnati, look for them to go wild this year. They added Tajay Brooks, good running back from Texas Tech, and they stole him in the 6th round. Burrow, Chase, T. Higgins, they're going to score a lot defensively. They did add some defense. A lot of what you hear from their defensive end is just talk. I want to sign, I won't sign, I won't play. Oh, bullshit. He's out there because he's playing with Joe Burrow. And if Joe Burrow is on your team, you're playing. So look for Hendrickson's, I think his name. They did add a little bit of defense in Tajay Brooks, so they will be more balanced and more defense. So they should win the NFC, the AFC. What is it? The Central. They can beat Baltimore. They lost to Baltimore like by a point in both the games last year. They were very high scoring. He knows Baltimore's defense. 36-35, so he's got no problem with that. Cleveland, I don't know. They got to go to Gabriel. Prime Jr. is going to be an irritation more than a help. Their defense, you got Myles Garrett. That's it. We'll see. The coach, I don't know. The running back, terrible draft. Their 7th round running back, Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, is better than their 2nd round pick, the guy from Ohio State. That's really fucked up GMing. So they do have some talent, Cleveland. But again, you got to play together. It's a team sport more than basketball or baseball. You can have a good pitcher. Basketball, you can have Michael Jordan. You can have Magic, but that's it. So Cleveland could be better this year. Get rid of Deshaun Watson. What a waste that was. Oh, and you guaranteed him the money. That was really smart. Tampa Bay, pretty good defense. The Bakers, pretty good. They did add a receiver. Atlanta, they got Penix. They brought in a Georgia defensive end and a very good Tennessee defensive end. Look for this to be a very strong team this year. Atlanta, under the radar. I know you guys like betting team totals. I would bet them over. And they're a live dog. You probably won't see them as a dog too often at home. So jump on them. Penix, B.J. Robinson, and a couple of receivers. Good luck, defending this team. They should be explosive, and the defense got a lot better. Very good drafting there. Frisco should have a good defense, even though they let a bunch go. They did draft 4 or 5 defensive players. Look for Frisco to be more Frisco. And Seattle, they're going to suck. They could be worse than Arizona. No defense, no quarterback, they got running backs, no receivers. What are they letting DK Metcalf go for? What a mistake. So look for Seattle maybe with 5 wins. Tennessee, they could be the worst team. Cam Ward, he'll try to run. We've been there, done that. No receivers, no running, no defense, no coach. The coach sucks. So they're a terrible team. Denver, look for them to be in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs last year, but look for them to play better this year. Bo Nix, second year in the league, very good at Oregon. And then you've got they've added a little receivers, a little running backs, and a very good defense, and Sean Payton. So look for Denver to be much improved this year. That I wouldn't want to bet against them too often. Houston, strong defense. CJ Stroud's not very good. He wants to roll to the right till he gets out of bounds and then pray that somebody gets open. What kind of play calling is that? Good defensive, though. Look for an under from them. The Rams, very good team all over. Stafford, he's got Devontae Adams, Pukanuka, and he's got some running, and he's got some defense. They're a pretty complete team there. Look for them to be strong. A lot will show against Houston if they can put up 30 on Houston. Look out. Detroit, Green Bay. Detroit lost its center. Pay their right tackle way too much money. And good offense, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, kind of a weak head coach when it comes to game time. He might motivate them and have them play hard. That isn't, but did you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers with Chuck Noll? He said, we don't use emotion. If we need emotion to get up for the game, we're in trouble, right? And they could never really be emotional. That's not how Chuck Noll called, and yet this guy wants to be emotional, right? We'll bite kneecaps and we'll whatever, and so they get emotional. But when it comes to the X's and O's in the games, they don't show up at a lot of games against good quarterback, against Buffalo, against Baltimore. They don't really do it. So I think they'll be an over team. I think their defense is terrible, and I think Hutchinson's probably out till at least October. He might be on the field, but he's not going to be there. Green Bay, Jordan Love's not that good. More receivers. They got a good running back. Their defense, they do have number 7 from Georgia, which I like. They should be better defensively than they are. So I don't know. I do think they'll play. Them and Detroit will be over teams, I think. We'll see. Baltimore, they need a quarterback. They've needed a quarterback for 7 years now. They stick with Lamar, who should be the slot receiver. Lamar as a slot receiver would be dangerous as hell. Quarterback, not so much. The push pass. I mean, he doesn't even have emotion. What is Harbaugh thinking? Harbaugh, probably the dumbest coach in the history of the league, to keep this guy at quarterback. And Hines Ward, Randall Antoine-L were better quarterbacks than him, but played wide receiver. So you got him at the wrong position, and the coach is too stupid to change it. That's their problem. They can never win a big game because of that. Look for them to be an over team with a pretty good defense, but they pay Lamar too much. When the defense starts getting injuries, there's nobody there. And that's the problem with a lot of these teams, paying their quarterback way too much, because it's football. You're going to get injuries, and when you do, your replacements are guys from the grocery store, and they're not NFL talent. That's what we see in baseball. Most of the players are minor league players. That's why you see Detroit hit the weak pitchers who groove the ball down the middle of the plate, and you go, wow, this guy hit a home run, da 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 da. And then when they play the major league pitchers, they get shut out most of the time or score one run. I mean, Michael Wacha no-hit him for 8 innings. So that's what you see in football. The Lions last year were terrible defensively. Even with Hutchinson, they weren't great. when they play the better teams. So against the Jacksonvilles and the Tennessees, they put up 50 points and they look great. But again, they're playing college teams. They're not playing pro teams. Trevor Lawrence is not a pro quarterback. Neither is Richardson. Neither was the guy on Tennessee, Will Levis. He wasn't good in college. Cam Ward was not good at Washington State. He's not all it. So I look at Baltimore, kind of an explosive team with an average defense. Buffalo, same thing, very explosive, and again, a kind of average defense. So you win with defense, you don't win with offense. So look for both these teams to be explosive, and yet not sure about their defense. So they're like Green Bay and Detroit. They score a lot, but their defense needs work. And then you get Minnesota, strong defense, no offense, no quarterback except for Jefferson. Their running back's pretty good. And they got a really good coach. So defense will carry them and Jefferson. Can McCartney or whoever the backup is hit Jefferson's the question. And that's one thing where Darnold failed when the Lions blitzed him. But what do you think they're going to do to McCarthy? And then the Chicago, great defense, no offense, no quarterback. As I just said with Daniels, you can see Daniels, and he's good already. And you can see Penix, and he's good already. Caleb, he played a year, he sucks. Is there a little, now he'll get better? No, he's going to get worse. He doesn't get better. He sucked his second year at USC. And if he can't do anything with Lincoln Riley in college, what are you going to do in the pros? I mean, it doesn't get easier. The defenses are stronger. The coaches are better. So Lincoln Riley, and you suck there. Now we got who? Ben Johnson's the head coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. So, see, I would have made Ben Johnson the offensive coordinator. But even he choked against Washington too. Where was the running? He didn't look at his team and say, who's my strength, and look at Washington and find their weakness. Philadelphia did. Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl because Washington's weakness is running it down their throat with Barkley. And as soon as they did that, the game was over. Lions didn't do that. Why not? Didn't you know Washington's weakness was against the run? If you can't find that, you shouldn't be an offensive coordinator. You can't run your plays with the worst quarterback in a pressure game in the league, Golf, who sucks. That's why the Rams got rid of him. If he was that good, the Rams wouldn't have got rid of him. He sucked at Cal, and he sucked. I guess they had a gimmick offense at Cal. One of these tricky offensive coordinators. So he looks better than he is in college. Gets to the Rams and he sucks. The only reason they went to the Super Bowl was Todd Gurley. It's like last year, Jalen Hurts didn't win the Super Bowl. Philly's defense did. Barkley didn't do anything in the Super Bowl. Philly's offense was non-existent. It was their defense that won the game. Pick sixes, fumbles, another interception at the 10-yard line. That's what won the game for Philadelphia, not Jalen Hurts. He had a few good passes, but when you're up 20 points, you can do that. Then Casey had to blitz more, and it's a different game when you got a 20-point lead because your defense just crushed Mahomes. So what do we got looking up? A few draft picks will make a difference. Not many. There's no Jalen Daniels this year. There's no Penix this year. There isn't even a Bo Nix this year. Caleb, the best quarterback is obviously Dylan Gabriel, Cleveland. And the fact he played 5 or 6 years in college, he should be pretty ready. And I like that he played at Oregon. He should be pretty ready. They run a very good offense there. So he should be good. He'll probably, the offense will be worse at Cleveland than it was at Oregon, of course. So you'll see that. I mean, who do we expect? We expect Philly to be the best team again. KC, all the makings of being in the Super Bowl. San Diego will take a step down. They got rid of Bosa. They still are paying for not drafting Brock Bowers. And we'll take a guard who got hurt as opposed to Brock Bowers. So we'll see. Carolina will still be terrible. So will Jacksonville. The Giants, Russell Wilson should make them a little bit better than Daniel Jones or Danny DeVito. So look for the Giants to be a little bit improved. Washington, if their defense holds up, they could challenge Philadelphia for the championship game. Pitt with Rodgers, much better. They got Caleb Johnson from Iowa. They got DK Metcalf. This is a much better offense than last year's. Their defense is always good with TJ Watt. So look for Pitt to have a chance. They need a new offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator was terrible. The Jets probably won't win a game. Arizona, probably pretty weak. New Orleans, the car injury hurts them. Let's see what Hagener can do. If they give him a freaking chance, I don't know what they're doing. He's a winner. He needs to be out there. Otherwise, they got Kamara, they got Olave. Their defense isn't that bad, so we'll see. Oakland, Brock Bowers and Gentry, Geno Smith, average. Coach Pete, above average. I would assume they're going to just let Max Crosby go wild, and I assume you're going to get Gentry the ball 25, 30 times a game. They're going to run it down your throat. They're going to eat the clock. They're going to play defense. Look for them to be an under team. So look, that's where the change is. I can't control if I have a shit quarterback, I can't control it. But you know what I can control? Handing the ball to Gentry and watching him go 5-6 yards carry and going, yeah, I can control the clock in the game by running Gentry 30 times and then letting Max Crosby go on defense. That I can control. So he's going to turn it into an Army-Navy type of game where he's going to run it, play defense, and milk the clock instead of just throwing it all over. That's where the league, everybody ran to the passing league, is really not intelligent. It's like the NBA with the 3-point. Everybody shoots 3 points. You wonder why these teams blow 20-point leads. What the hell are they doing? So they don't know what they're doing. So it's a very bad league. I'll get to economics shortly. So you have that. You got New England will be the same type. They'll be a defensive team with Vrabel, and they don't have a good quarterback. He wants to run. Well, they're not going to let him run. And the running quarterback never works, never has, never will, because he needs to throw the ball to the receivers. Otherwise, we just stop covering the receivers and we blitz the quarterback, and he gets sacked 15 times a game. Miami, very weak team, very weak coach. As I said, when they hired him, I didn't understand hire, and he'll be gone after this year. They'll probably win 5 or 6 games. Tyreek Hill, big mistake leaving KC. Could have won 3 more Super Bowls, but went for the money. So that's the problem. You make more money winning Super Bowls than you do with the money. Indy, Richardson's hurt. Their backup, I think, is okay. Taylor, their running back, and then they need defense. So they'll be an average team also. Profit, does Gentry have the durability to carry the ball 40, 50 times a game? He did at Boise. He carried the ball a ton. I'm sure he might not carry it 40, 50 times a game. They'll try to run 40, 50 times a game, right? Marshawn Lynch, that's what he did. So let's say Gentry gets 25 to 30 carries, and then the backup gets another 15, 20 carries. But that's what Coach Pete will do, although he does have Brock Bowers. So keep in mind, it'll be play action Gentry, Brock Bowers, which nobody can cover, and Gentry. So Coach Pete's smart enough to use his players. So he'll use Brock Bowers like he used DK Metcalf at Seattle. So you're going to have to cover those. Those are your two studs you got to cover. So he won't get the ball 40 times a game, but he will get it. He should get it about 20, 25 in normal games, and they're just going to mow you down. They're just going to wear you out. Indy, another weak team. Cincinnati, look for them. They have a big year. Tajay Brooks will help the offense tremendously, giving it balance, and they added some defense. You don't need to add a lot. You've got the stud. You've got Chase, and you've got Joe Burrow, and that's worth a lot. So look for Cincy to play much better. Cleveland, I don't know. We got to see who their quarterback is. They're going to start with Pickett. They're going to start with Gabriel. I would give Gabriel like 4 games and then put him in. Although Pickett's, if you're relying on Pickett, you're in big trouble to start with. Their defense and Myles Garrett, I think they drafted another guy, but you don't know how good he is. So this will be interesting. They'll probably play under games because no quarterback. The running back, I don't know what they're doing. And then the defense with Myles Garrett, but I don't know what else they have. Tampa Bay, good team. Baker's playing well. Their defense, they added a few things. Atlanta, this is the terror that nobody sees coming but us. Look for them. They're a very live dog at home here, but look for them with Penix and the 2 new defense from Georgia and Tennessee. Very strong players. And you got to understand, they'll be even better with Penix because they know if they play well, Penix will win the game for them. At the end of the day, you want to win. Unlike Tyreek Hill, who took the money and is not going to win. He could have won with Mahomes, so it was a really strange thing Tyreek Hill did. Very bad decision to leave Mahomes for Tagliabue. San Francisco will be much improved. Their draft was good defensively. As long as McCaffrey's back, they did draft some receivers. Purdy's fine. I mean, he's good. He's not great. He's not Mahomes. He's not Burrow, but he's good. And he proved that. He got you into the Super Bowl, which isn't easy. And he did make some comebacks. So he's okay. He's not great. He's not like a 10. He's like a 7. All right. Seattle will be lucky to win 5 games this year. Terrible coaching, terrible quarterback, no receivers, and a weak defense. How are you going to win? Tennessee, probably the worst team in the league with Carolina and Jacksonville. No quarterback, no defense. Yeah, how do you win? Denver, look for them to be much better. Bo Nix, very good. You've added running backs, you've added receivers, a little bit of defense, and Sean Payton. So look for them. Houston, strong defense, need a quarterback still. I don't know if they got a running back. I think they took Woody Marks from USC, who's a little scat back. So I don't know what they're thinking, but they'll rely on their defense. The Rams, very strong team, could challenge Philadelphia. They played Philadelphia pretty good in the playoff game. They've added some defense, and Devontae Adams and Puka Cooper Kupp couldn't stay healthy. They got rid of him for Devontae Adams. That was a good move. They added a running back. Look for LA to be right up there. Detroit needs a defense, now needs a center. The offensive and defensive coordinators are lousy. Head coach doesn't understand what he's doing. He's in over his head. Good offensive team, weak defense. Green Bay, good offensive team, but the quarterback's average. You've added 2 more receivers. You already had 5. Now you got 7. I don't know what you're doing there. And their defense is good, but not great. So should be an over team, but we'll see. Baltimore, we know them. Lamar should be a slot receiver, is playing quarterback. You got problems. Decent defense. and a strong offense and Derrick Henry. So they'll score a lot of points for you. Same with Buffalo. Josh Allen will score a lot of points, and their defense just they don't understand. You win with defense. That's what Kansas City does. That's what Philadelphia does. Buffalo can't figure that out. Josh Allen, that's it. So look for them both to be pretty good teams, good offensive teams. Defense, better at home, but we'll see. Baltimore keeps blowing leads to Cleveland and Oakland. What do you expect from them? So that's their problem. And then Minnesota, good defense, no quarterback, and you got Jefferson. All you need is a quarterback to throw to Jefferson, and very good defense. And the Bears, great defense, no quarterback. So they're both kind of under teams. They won't score a lot, but you're not going to score a lot on them. They did hold in the Bear game. They lost to Washington on the Hail Mary. They did hold Washington down pretty good. So the Bears have a very good defense. Now you got to question their coach. I think he's in way over his head. So I don't know. And you're not going to win with Caleb. Again, Daniel Jones, here comes Caleb. And Darnold, you're going to give him 5 years. We already know he's not good. You'll give him 5 years and you'll lose. And then you'll go, oh, he's just like Fields. He's not very good. And that's where these guys aren't smart enough, which leads us into economics and Trump. Any other questions, please feel free. So you have a guy named Trump. What do we know about Trump? He's rich because of his dad with the buildings. I don't know what his education is, but doesn't seem to be smart. Seems to be a bully. Seems to think we're America and we can tell you what to do, which all that does is piss everybody off. Doesn't understand China, Russia. Doesn't understand the war that he's trying to end, because if he was president, the war would never have started. Well, buddy, you're president and you haven't stopped the war yet. You keep funding Ukraine for some stupid reason. What are you doing? So it's really confusing. It's really confusing to figure out what he's doing. The tariffs are terrible. The tariffs just increase cost. So we're running a business and we're going to sell Red Wing cups, Stanley Cup cups. And what's our cost? $5. And what are we going to sell them for? Well, we can sell them for $15 because it's the Stanley Cup. We'll make $10 a cup. Okay, let's go into business. And since it's the Stanley Cup, the demand is there. So the biggest question about business is demand and supply. If I make it, will they come? Will people buy it? Is there demand for the product? That's the first thing you must know. Then what can I sell it for? And what's my cost? So is there demand so I can sell it? And if it's here, and then what am I going to sell it for? So here's the market and it moves all around. What can I sell it up here and make money? I've got to sell it here. If I sell it here, I lose money. So can I make money with it? So if it costs me 5, can I sell it for 10? Or in this case, 15, we're saying. So we say, yeah, it's the Red Wings. There should be demand. They won the Stanley Cup and it's a coffee mug. Yes, we know there's demand for coffee mug. Okay. So we're going to do that. And so you have all that going, and we go into business and we start selling them, and our costs are $5 and we sell it for 15. We're happy. We're doing well. And then Trump comes in. I'm going to tariff this and that. And the place I buy my plastic to make the cup is in China because they can make it much cheaper. But now you've tariffed China 145%, which makes my cost go up 145%. Not necessarily that I'm going to pay China, but China's going to charge me more because they have to cover their costs. So when they are making the material, their cost is $5 and they sell it for 15, and their cost has now gone up to $15. That's what tariffs do. They raise the cost of the manufacturer. So now he was making it for 5, selling it for 15. That's before the cup, right? That's the plastic and all the other thing, or glasses, whatever we would get from China, or pens. They had their cost and they could see what they sell it for and they made profit. Well, their cost just went up 145%. So now their cost, if we keep the same thing, was $5. They sell it at 15, has now gone up to $15. So China has a decision. Either we lay off a bunch of people to get our cost back down to 10, or we charge the customer more, which is what I'm warning the barbecue place to do, is not charge the customer more. So now we're in a quandary. We're China and we go, well, shit, our costs are now $15 because of the stupid tariffs. And what do? Well, we try passing the cost on to the consumer, to the cup maker, right? We're going to try passing the cost on to him. So my cost now went up from 5 to 15, which means I have to make money because this is the rule of business. You have to make it less than the cost has to be less than the price. So you make profit. But it doesn't matter what country you're in, it's the same rules. So China's now costs have gone up because of these stupid tariffs. So now they're $5 or 15. Do I lay off everybody or do I charge 25? Because I'm in business to make profit. And if I can't make profit, I got to go out of business. So they're going to try to increase costs, but so now I'm in Detroit making these. So my cost was $5, has now gone up to 15 because China's cost went up, and they're going to try to increase my cost. They're going to charge me more. So they're not going to charge me $5 anymore because they won't make profit. So this is what the tariffs do. They make the $5 that I could buy from China go up to 15. Right? So China either raises their price for me from 5 to 15, or they go out of business, because China is in the game the same we are, to make it for 5 and sell it for 15, which they can't do. Their cost went up to 15. They charge me more. So now I can't buy it for 5 and sell it for 15. Now it costs me 15 because it's not in China's interest to sell it for the $5 because they now have this extra cost. This is the problem with tariffs. So now either China raises the prices or goes out of business. Either way, I'm fucked because now it cost me $15 for this mug because China had to raise the price or lay off everybody. So either I can't get it anymore because China's out of business because they think they can't raise the price, or now I got to pay the extra price to 15. There's no other way around it. They can't sell it to me for 5 anymore. So my costs are now 15. Can I sell it for 20 or 25? Well, no, my costs went up to 15. I really can't sell it for 20, 25 because we have inflation here and people have less money to buy my cup with, so they won't pay more. So I got to keep my price at 15. But now my costs went to 15. So wait a minute. It cost me 5. I sell it for 15. I make $10. I'm a happy camper. Now my cost went to 15 because China's raising their price because they're getting their cost increased. But I can't raise my price to 20. Nobody will buy it. Now what do? My costs are 15. My price is 15. I break even on it. Oh, what's the point of being in business? If I can't make money, I don't go into business. That's step 1 of business. What's my price that I can sell it for? Is there demand? What's the price I can sell it for? And what's my cost? My cost better be under my price so I can make profit. Simple. Finance 501. So by the tariffs have raised the cost of China and Japan and any other country because he's raised the fucking tariffs on every country. So everybody's going through the same thing. I got to charge more. My costs have just went up and I got to charge more. But will the public with the inflation be able to take the price increases? Well, no, I can't raise the price. I can't make the ribs $45. I won't have any customers. So he keeps the ribs at 30. And if his costs go over 30, he just can't sell the ribs, or he maybe marks them up 32 or 33. What he's been doing is making chicken a little bit more, making the combination a little bit more. So the combination used to be $17, is now, I think I paid, well, I didn't get it yesterday. It was, I went up to 24. So I got the barbecue chicken half for 14 yesterday. And I got French onion soup. I never saw it on the menu before. And I kind of looked around, and normally I get a salad with it. And I got, hey, let me try the French onion soup. And it was okay. I'm not going to get it again, but I thought I'd try it. And so that's what happened with it. But again, my business model, to be in business, I have to sell it for more than it costs. But the market won't let me. I can't sell the ribs for $45. I can't sell the Stanley Cup. I can't sell this for $25. 15, maybe I can go to 16. But if my cost, because of the tariffs, because now the Chinese company making it, their costs went up, to stay in business, they have to charge me more or lay off their employees. Some of them are laying off their employees. Some of them are increasing my cost. Either way, this went from 5 to 15, and my revenue is at 15. My price is 15. My cost is 15. I'm breaking even. Go buy gold. So that's the problem. Then can I raise that? And everybody, oh, just raise prices. Prices are going to go up. No, they won't. I can't sell it for $20. Nobody will buy it. And therefore you end up going out of business. So now we got to go out of business because we can't sell it for 20. Maybe we sell it for 17, but our cost at 15, there's not enough profit. It's a very low, it's a 10%, return. Well, wait, we were making $10 a mug. Now we're making $2 a mug. Not enough, can't go, because we got to give raises to our employees, and our taxes went up, and our inflation, our dollar's worth less. People aren't going to spend it. That is the problem with tariffs. They raise the cost, which forces your cost to go up. And will the market allow you to raise prices? And the answer is not a chance. So we'll take it to Coca-Cola. They raise their prices to $3.50. And at $3.50, can they sell Coke? And the answer, no. Nobody wants to pay $3.50 for a 2-liter Coke. They either go to Faygo, they go to 7-Up, they go to Dr. Pepper. I go to, when I do drink pop, I go to, what is that? Squirt, Diet Squirt. It's always like $1 cheaper, but I don't need Coke and Pepsi. The guy in the hot tub thought Coke was a monopoly. That's how smart he is. I says, how is Coke a monopoly? There's Pepsi. There, just like I said, Faygo, 7-Up. Coke's not a monopoly. Well, yeah, the people who like Coke will drink Coke no matter what. I go, no, that's not true. If Coke and Pepsi, if Pepsi's 50 cents less, everybody will drink Pepsi. There's no monopoly because of that. There's no, like, Mercedes isn't a monopoly, or Ferrari. There's people who like Mercedes, who prefer Mercedes, but at the end of the day, if take even Audi or take Toyota comes out, they'll buy that over the Mercedes, or they'll buy a lesser Mercedes. So there's no such thing as, if it's a competition. Canadian Club, is this a monopoly because I have Canadian Club? No, I can buy Dewar's, I can buy Maker's Mark, I can buy Black Label. I can buy a lot. I buy Crown Royal. So don't say that Canadian Club's a monopoly. I mean, you come across as the gold standard. I'm not a monopoly at football picking. There's other handicappers. I'm better than most of them, but I'm not a monopoly. You're free to go to any handicapper you want. If you want to win, you come to me. If you don't want to win, you go to them. But it doesn't mean a monopoly means I'm the only guy. Canadian Club is the only whiskey. Coca-Cola is the only pop, and none of them are monopolies. So the guy didn't even know what a monopoly was. But anyway, as long as there's competition, There's 10 other companies making Detroit Red Wing Stanley Cup. There's 10 other companies making glass cups. There's 10 other companies making phones. So there is no monopoly. That's the beauty of competition. But when you go to the country and you force their cost up, you force their price up, because for them to be in business, they have to make profit and they have to then charge you more. Or if we say no, so let's say I say no. Now here's phase two of this. Cost me 5, I sell it for 15. China gets the tariff. Now their cost would go up to 15. The only alternative I have is to go to India or Vietnam or Mexico or Brazil and see if I can get this for $5 still, or maybe $7, because Trump's tariffing everybody. Can I substitute, get away from China and buy this there for $7? That would be my only option. Can I get it at a different country who can make the cups and they're not being tariffed, so their costs would only be 7 or 8? I can still sell it for 15 and I can still stay in business. That's where competition comes in. Well, I can go to Brazil and they can make it. You got to look at the FX rate. Well, I got to pay yuan. Now I got to pay Brazil. What's their FX rate? So that goes factors into it. The other thing is, well, can we use a different material? I don't know. And I don't know. You can't really in this, and you can't really in this. I got to make whiskey the way I make whiskey. The bottle, I can't fuck with the bottle. That was very expensive coming up with that design. And there's a lot of marketing that goes into this design. So there's a whole marketing team that says, well, this would sell for Canadian Club 12 year. We want this bottle, it's glass, this label, this top. A lot goes into that. Shut the fucking dog up. So that's what goes into it. And you've got to understand that. So as a business, I'm looking to substitute my goods too. So can I buy it cheaper? So let's not buy from China. So what Trump's doing is saying you can't use China. You have to find an alternative. The alternative's India, maybe Vietnam, maybe Singapore, another place that can make goods, but they're not going to be tariffed at 145. And that's really where it's at. So that's what you're looking to do. And that's what Trump's doing. He's basically raising the cost, but he's not smart enough to understand that. Trump thinks, oh, good, they'll pay the tariff. See, in Trump's world, well, we'll tariff them 100, so their costs go from 5 to 15, and we'll get that in taxes, right? We'll add $10, and we're going to pay off our $37 trillion debt by taxing them the $10 as if nothing will change. But everything will change because you've raised their cost. They have to raise their prices, which we won't take. So therefore, they go out of business. So you're not getting any tax from them. And that's what he doesn't see. Based on competition, I go to Brazil. I go to Vietnam. I go to India to make the coffee mugs. And their tariffs aren't as much. So I'm not going to get. So I think because I'm doing business with China, I'm going to get $10 trillion a year, because I don't think anything changes, but everything changes. They go out, they move to Vietnam, they go to different countries where the tariffs are less. And Trump's too stupid to understand that, and Scott Simpson's too stupid to understand that, and George Soros understands it perfectly. So China struggles, but China's got 60,000 tons of gold, so they really don't give a fuck. And then, so what does China do? They start making the cups for countries that are not in the U.S. So they say, fuck that, we'll make the cup and we'll sell it to Brazil, and we'll sell it to Dubai, and we'll sell it to Saudi Arabia. We won't sell to the U.S. So now all these countries go, screw these tariffs, we won't sell to the U.S. There's other countries, they'll buy it. Then who cares about the U.S.? And then they got to worry about the U.S. dollar, which is worthless. Do they even want to do business with us? Well, your dollar's not good. They're dumping treasuries. So when they did trade with us, China would sell the mugs, get the money, and they now they got U.S. dollars, which is no good, and they're gonna have to sell the U.S. dollars, and they buy treasuries with the U.S. dollar. But now that they realize the U.S. dollar is not worth anything, they're selling all the U.S. dollars and buying gold. So that's how it worked. They were buying treasuries so there is no trade deficit. They got money for the coffee mugs. That's the trade. That is even. There is no deficit. If you look at, well, we don't sell them coffee mugs. Well, why would we? Our costs are much higher because our labor is 10 times as high as China's. So therefore we don't, so we don't sell that. We don't make anything. What do we sell? Stocks. We sell bond. We sell money. We don't make anything, right? So we're not selling gym shoes and golf clubs and tennis shoes to China. So why would you have a balanced trade? The whole thing is absolutely retarded. Doesn't make any sense. So that's what happens. So China starts dealing with competition. They start dealing with, let's say, Brazil and selling the mugs there. And instead of saying Detroit Red Wings, Stanley Cup champs, they say whoever in the soccer league is the champ makes coffee mugs, that the Brazil A team is the champ of the league. And they sell the coffee mugs to Brazil and they buy it because it's a championship team. And so the tariffs that he thinks he's going to make money on, he won't. They won't deal with us because he's out of his fucking mind. Now, what Trump needs to do is change his, he's got to change his course. He's got to say, 145 is not competitive for China. It's hurting our companies, and that he doesn't realize that, because there's no way China can make it if they don't raise our price, because then they won't be profitable, right? My cost went up to 50 and I sell it for 50. So I got to sell it for 20. So the manufacturer now has to buy it for 20. So his costs went up. And so instead of paying 15, you pay 20, but the market won't bear it. So we start losing money because people don't want to pay more. I'm not going to pay $3.50 for Coke. I'll buy something else. Coke sales go down. This is why I don't understand the stock market going up, and it goes up in Amazon. Well, people are going to be buying less. In Apple, nobody's going to pay for food or for phones. And are you really going to buy the Apple network? I mean, who the hell is going to buy that? Cable's too expensive, so people are getting out of cable, going into Roku, and then they're buying. Tubi and Pluto comes free, so I buy Netflix, because I get out of that. And that's probably why Netflix stock is so high, because people getting out of cable going into Netflix. So that's what you have, a lot of that, which you need somebody at my level to understand and explain it. And apparently the Scott Simpson guy, he doesn't have a master's in finance, is not understanding this. He doesn't understand a master's in economics, doesn't understand it, thinking, well, we'll just bully them. We'll just charge them more. And then we'll get our taxes in and we'll pay off our 37 trillion. And it couldn't be, it's just like raising your tax rate to 90%. Nobody will work. If you made the tax rate in the US 90%, nobody would work here. We'd all move. B, the economy would crumble, because nobody would have money to go shopping, because then it all goes to the government, and the government doesn't go to Target and doesn't go out to eat and doesn't go to Kroger's to buy food. So, that's another reason you can't raise taxes to 80-90%, because you'll take money out of the economy. So what Trump's trying to do is not tax everybody. He wants to tax them in simplistic plan. He's saying, well, I can't tax the people because then the economy collapses. So I will tax the countries who make the goods. And then when we buy it, we'll get this extra tax. Sounds good in theory until you realize it's can't work. Farm goods, whatever you're buying, you make apples $3 a dozen, a pound. Nobody's going to buy them. I haven't bought apples in a long time. When I get blueberries, $5-6 a pound. I mean, you got to be kidding me. So when they do hit 250, I do buy some, but otherwise I don't buy them at $4 or $5 a quart. Or strawberries are 150. I'm buying it at $3.50, $4. It's too expensive. I'm not buying. I don't need to eat them. I substitute, right? Even my eggs I just bought, they were $7.90 for 18 of them. But it's a must-have, so I bought them. But they're probably no matter what price I'm going to buy them, because them and the avocados, no matter what you charge me for these. Now at Walmart they're $1. At Meijer's they're $2.75. The same avocado, right? It's an avocado. There's nothing different about it. So I just so I do my Walmart shopping. I get my dark chocolate for $2.50 instead of $4.50, and I get my avocado for $1 versus $2.75. That's how you do it. That's what we're doing with tariffs. Well, we won't go to China. We'll go to Japan, or we'll go to Brazil. We'll go to Mexico. We'll go to India. Who else will pick it up and make it? And they have less tariffs. So you're kind of killing China. Now, China's broke, as I've told you, and that's really the problem with China. They're broke, and so these companies can't afford it. So a lot of their companies move to Vietnam to avoid the tariffs. A lot of people are unemployed because the companies tried to raise prices, and we said no, because now I can't just make this $50 for a coffee mug. Nobody's going to buy it. So my limit's $15. My cost is $5. I can sell it. My cost goes to $15. I can't raise this to $25. There is no market for it there. As I say, the critical thing is know your market. And then if you try to sell it over market, so if my market for Coke is $1.99, I try to sell it for $3.50, there's nobody home. Same thing with the Camry at $35,000 and the ribs at $45,000. There's nobody home. The market's down here. So you always got to find your market. I'm selling a coffee mug. You raise my cost because of tariffs. There's nobody home to buy it. I go out of business. So you're killing everybody's economy with these stupid tariffs, which is what basically happened in the 1930s. That's how Hitler got into power. Germany, nobody could make money. And here comes Hitler going, hey, I got a job for you. You get to wear this nice uniform. And we kill people and we steal gold. I mean, that's how Hitler got into power. If he never had the tariffs, he would never have had World War II. That's the problem. But did they do World War II on purpose so the defense contractors could make money making weapons? We sold a lot of shit to Britain and got gold for it. So is this just coincidence or what? But that's what happens, and that's what's happening now. That's why you have these wars. The wars are to get out of the recession by selling, so the defense contractors can sell to these countries in war because they need tanks and planes and guns, and that's what they need, and off you go with it. So we have to, people have to adjust and they have to substitute. And that's what they're doing. But the government wants the war because they want to sell tanks and planes and Tomahawk missiles. It's insanity. And I don't know who pays for it. These countries don't have the money. So is it the U.S. printing money, giving it to the defense contractors to do it? I really don't know enough about that. But I do know you can't substitute. You need a tank. You gotta go to a defense contractor. And who knows who's selling to Russia? Is it the defense contractors probably selling tanks and these missiles to Russia too? Wouldn't be surprised. They did it. They sold to both sides during the Civil War and the North and the South, and both sides in World War I. J.P. Morgan did that. I brought that up in class. And probably in World War II, they probably showed where did the Nazis get their weapons from. They did get a lot from Bosch and BMW and Mercedes. They made a lot of cars for them. But where did they get the weapons from? Oh, yeah, probably our defense contractors. So, I mean, that's the problem. But war, there's no revenue in war. There's no revenue in the government. So all this free stuff, we'll work for the government. Well, how do they make money? They just print it, but then the more you print, the less they're worth. Oh no, but here comes these Keynesians saying, well, no, you can print until as much as you want. There's no effect because we have the printing press. Well, they had a printing press in Germany in 1923. That didn't work. They printed billions and billions of Reichsmarks. They still went broke because the more you print, the less they're worth. That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. You can't just keep printing. So the tariffs are killing the world, because then companies in China can't stay in business because they can't sell because their costs went up. And anytime you raise costs that's not due to the market, you're fucked, and we're fucked. So this is why you have depressions, because once you do tariffs, costs go up to them. They got to raise their price to you. So your cost goes up. You can't sell it because the market says, this is what I'll pay. Oh, wait, my cost put me up here. Sorry. And if Ford and GM think that, I mean, nobody likes their cars anyway, but if you think, oh, wait, steel went up and aluminum went up, so now I'm going to charge more, and your market's down here, bye-bye Ford and GM, you got to be crazy to think that they can do it. And that's what turns us to gold and silver. You can't print it. There is no cost in gold and silver. The cost is what COMEX says. Why everybody uses COMEX as the price is beyond me. It's pure stupidity, but we will take advantage of the bullshit price. As I showed you, silver at 36, the tariffs don't affect silver price, right? It's money. They dug it out of the ground. It's done by COMEX. So you can't tariff it, and there's no cost to it. It's already out. So you're just bidding on the price. It's 36, it goes to 40, it goes to 50. Maybe that costs you more, but that's got nothing to do with inflation. This is not the same as the mug going up. And I think that's what Mark McGuire and Alligator, where they get confused. Well, it's not costs going up. It's because the dollar's going down. No, it's demand that raises gold and silver. It's got nothing to do with the inflation, but everybody thinks it does. If there's demand for gold and silver, the price goes up. If there's no demand, and that's where we're bitching, the demand for gold and silver is through the roof because of COMEX, because of BRICS, and all the central banks buying it, and everybody realizing the dollar's worthless because these idiots keep printing it. So again, if you know phase one, the iceberg hits the boat sinks, you get into the lifeboat. If you're printing dollars and you print too much, and the dollar loses value, the dollar sinks and you get into the lifeboat, which is gold and silver. So we Rumpelstiltskin out of the, I like using my little terms. We Rumpelstiltskin this to get gold and silver. We're happy campers. And that's really what the bottom line is. And that's the whole scope of it. If my costs go up, can I sell it? But as you're printing the money, the value's worthless. If you look at central banks, they're selling their dollars to buy gold because they know it's worthless. Nobody wants our T-bills because they're worthless. And our $37 trillion debt says we're not going to pay you back. So why would you buy a T-bill from a place that's not going to pay you back? So here's $10,000 and you're going to pay me $12,000 in 5 years. Oh, sounds good. Only wait, we won't have money to pay you back with. So why would I buy a $10,000 treasury and I'm going to get $12,000 for it in 5 years, but I'm never going to get paid? They won't have the money to pay me. So why would I want a T-bill? So again, when you retire, the last thing you want to do is be in stocks and treasuries, but yet all the financial planners are going to put you in stocks and treasuries, and you're going to go broke as your retirement. Here's our retirement present to you. You're broke because we're got commission selling you stocks and bonds, and we didn't get commission selling you gold and silver. So therefore, you're fucked. That's why you don't listen to these idiots. So you got to be smart enough to know who to listen to and who not to listen to. And the tariffs, as I said, it raises the cost on whoever we're tariffing, raises their price because they have to. Otherwise, they lose money and they go out of business. So they either go out of business or they raise prices. probably means they go out of business either way. Then there's less people selling the coffee cups, the pens, the phones, the hats, the whiskey, and that then there goes the market, because you need the market, because in a market, in a free market, you need businesses then hire people, and then we get money, and then we go out into the marketplace and we buy tennis shoes and phones and whiskey and food and glasses, and we buy everything we need. But we need an economy, we need businesses to hire us, to pay us for our skill set. So that's why you develop your skill set, so you can make even more at the ABC company. And then you buy more in the economy, and then they hire people, and then they make money, and then they buy more, like Adam Smith said. So in a communistic view, the communists say, well, we want everybody to be equal. So wait, Joey's making 100,000 because he's a CPA, and Bobby's making 30,000. Not you, Bobby. Well, a fictional Bobby is making 40,000. That doesn't work. We're socialist. You got to pay Bobby 100,000 because you're paying Jim 100,000. And that's the problem with socialism. They don't. The difference is the skill set. The difference is we make the decisions in the economy, not the government. The government tries to manage the economy, and it never can work. Ever, ever, ever. Democratic socialism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it doesn't work. It must be us determining what we want to buy in a free market without a lot of taxes, so we can benefit from it. We benefit by the coffee mug, by the avocado, by the whiskey, by the pen, by the phone. We do it to benefit, and it's got to be a fair trade. And that's what hurts. A $35,000 Camry is not a fair trade. It's too expensive to give you. I'm not going to give you $35,000 for it. I will give you $25,000 for it. And so that's what happened. Or I'll start buying Corollas, and that's what'll happen. So that's how it all ties in, is into that. So that's the whole economics, right? So when you start fucking it up by having tariff, by raising costs, they have to raise prices, but the market's set. This is what I'm going to pay. Even a Rolex, you might pay $5,000 for it. Well, I'm going to have to charge you $20 because of these tariffs. No, it's not a fair trade for me. I'm used to spending $5 or $6 on a Rolex. The baseball cards, I don't know that tariffs would affect that too much, because the cost per unit on a baseball card is probably very little, and you're going to pay more for a Ken Griffey Jr. or Willie Mays or something, which is fine. But I don't see tariffs really affecting it. You don't need baseball cards. You don't need Bitcoin. Bitcoin's being perceived as a safe haven. Well, I don't want to get into stocks, and I can't get into bonds. I'll get into Bitcoin as a way to make money, because my dollar's certainly losing value. But they're wrong. Bitcoin is not a safe haven. It is not real. And that is the problem with it. So you can challenge me all you want, but at the end of the day, what's it backed by? Nothing. At the end of the day, what are we doing with Bitcoin? What gives it value? It's a Madoff. It's phony. Can I see one? No, because it doesn't exist. Oh, so I can't see it. I can't put it in my safe. It's just air, and supposedly there's 21 million, which is supposedly limited, which it isn't. I showed you my Brady 399. That's limited. I showed you my Eiserman 1 of 1. That's limited. 21 million is not limited, and it's not used by everybody. So it's not money. It's not digital gold. Well, wait, Joe Blow said it was digital gold, so it's digital gold. Why do you keep comparing it to gold? The only Bitcoin I see that I can see is it says a B on it as a gold coin. Why did you choose that? So everybody, you should know it's fake. It's not real. There is no such thing as a Bitcoin. It is not a coin. It is a nothing. So it is not limited, because nobody knows how many there are, and there's nothing good about it, right? Gold is very limited, and you can have it and put it in your safe and buy, and you got to buy physical because the ETFs are a Ponzi scheme. They say, oh, yeah, it's you have gold if you buy the ETF, and then you try to get it. And, well, we don't have it. We got this 1 ounce that we're selling to 20 million people. So 20 million people own a piece of the ounce. Yeah, well, that'll help me. And that's what it is. The war are very expensive. They do not do anything, and a lot of people get killed. Um, Again, gold you can't print. That's the beauty of gold and silver. You can't print it. It has a value. Does it matter about inflation? Really, it shouldn't, but it's been price fixed. They try to keep the price of gold and silver down on purpose, so you stay in the stock market because the banks run the country and the banks want you in the stock market. But if you're smart, you don't play their game. You stay in gold and silver. And eventually, at the end of the day, the gold and silver wins. As I showed you for the year, gold's up 45%. The stock market's up, 10%? So you tell me what's better. And I know you can't fake the gold like you're faking Bitcoin and you're faking the dollar by printing this to zero, and you can't print gold to zero. And who knows what Bitcoin is? It's not real. How people can think it's real is beyond me. How it has a value is beyond me. And when the dollar crumbles, your Bitcoin's okay, it's worth $100,000 and the dollar's worth zero. So your Bitcoin's worth zero. And as Luke likes to tell me, the Bitcoin's worth a Bitcoin. And I keep saying, but that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. There's nothing there. So yeah, I know it looks like, oops, oh, we made a mistake. You should have been in it. No, we were right all along. Just like Madoff. Well, I'm making 15% in Madoff, you could tell me. So you could buy Madoff at 2,000 and you're making 15%. You got $1 million in it. Look at all the money I make. You were wrong. And then at the end of the day, 2008 hits and he's arrested. It's a Ponzi scheme. You lose all your money. Not only that, you have to pay back the money you gained because that was illegal. So was I wrong? No. I saw what was going to come, just like Bitcoin. I'm not wrong about it. If I thought it was real, I'd buy it. But I show you baseball cards and I tell you Rolexes and paintings. These are real. You can see them. You can hold them. And that's what you want. You never want things that you can't touch or see, especially if you can't see it. There used to be digital paintings. That was all a Ponzi scheme. OneCoin, that was a Ponzi scheme. They admitted, oh no, there's no such thing. And they made like $10 billion. And then they had to say, well, it's really not real. We don't have any. Well, there is no Bitcoin. It's all bullshit. It's maybe they're going to try taxing you on it. But at the end of the day, there is no such thing as a Bitcoin. Because if you can't see it and hold it, how can it be real? So I can say, oh, I have a Bitcoin. See, look at my Teaserking coin. Here it is. See? I can't see it, Howard. Yeah, but I'm telling you, there's only 21 million of it, and it's a Bitcoin. It's a Teaserking coin. It's just bullshit. It's a Ponzi scheme. You're falling because you see it at $100,000. You think it has value. I'll tell you, if I had 100 grand, and I did, I bought gold and silver with it. I would not buy Bitcoin with it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. People got out of it. Take your money. Be happy that you got out before it went to zero. And then you buy gold and silver with it. It's the best play. So if you bought it at 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, it's worth 100,000, get the fuck out of it and go buy gold before the price of gold hits 10 grand and you're going, shit, I can only buy 10 of them. Now you can still buy 30 something, which will be enough. That would be the prudent move would be take your winnings and get into gold before gold shoots up, because we know gold's going to shoot up because you can't print gold and the dollar's worth nothing. So everybody has to look for value. Will get out of the dollar and into gold and silver. Maybe some are stupid and go into Bitcoin, but you really should go into gold and silver because Bitcoin's at 100,000 now. Where's it going? To 200,000? So that's 100% return. Gold at 3,300, all I got to do is get this 6,000 and I get 100% return. And it's going to go much higher. And when the dollar goes out, the gold will have value. Bitcoin won't, because Bitcoin's priced in dollars. So you got to get out of things priced in dollars. So the prudent move is sell it and get in the gold and silver. Take your profit. Very nice. I mean, what, you go to the casino and you play baccarat and you win, you make a couple $1,000s. Do you keep playing baccarat until you lose all your money back, or do you take your profit? In the casino, I'm assuming you take profit. I mean, you can't keep winning at a casino. Are you out of your mind? And then, so is Bitcoin any different? But the fact is that it's priced in dollars goes out. So you take your profit from the casino and you buy gold and silver with it. You take your profit from Bitcoin and you buy gold and silver with it. Then when gold goes from 3,300 to 10,000, now you've made another triple there, which it will do. It's not will it is. Will Bitcoin go to 200 grand? And when it does, it'll still be priced in dollars and still worth nothing. And that's where you're really at. All right. I don't remember what else was on the title, but we'll get it next time. I got to do my drafts. Maybe I'll do that tonight or tomorrow. Do NFL draft videos. To repeat, we got the Cubs under, I believe, 7.5. Toronto under 8. The Dodgers over 8.5. Atlanta over 7. Philly under 8.5. 2 units. Texas 2 units. Arizona over 9.5. Tampa Bay under 8.5. Tampa should win the game anyway. Houston under 7 is our 3-unit play today. White Sox under 8. 2 units. The Yankees under 7.5. 2 good pitchers going. It's scary though. San Diego under 8.5. Seattle 2 units. The Mets 2 units. San Diego under 8.5 was 2 units, and Oakland over 10.5. Those are your plays. The NBA tomorrow, I see 10.5 and 228. I like Indy getting 10.5. The way they played, there's no way OKC is going to run away with it. The runaways happen when it really becomes must win. Yeah, you're down 3-1, you're gonna blow them out. The team's down 3-2 at home, and they must win or they're gone. That's when they win by 50. Not in game 2s. You're not going to win by 50. So we'll see about that. Football, Aaron Rodgers is playing. Again, get your money out of the fucking bank, get it out of bonds. You won't get paid back. Stocks are going to crash because the foreigners are going to pull their money, especially with these tariffs. A lot of companies, a lot of economic growth is going to slow down. People will need their money, and they're going to come, and a lot of it's in the U.S. for some strange reason. Like we're not corrupt here, and then they pull their stocks, so the market will crash. The bond market's already crashed. They can't pay it off. Stock market crashes, which then you lose your ass in that. The only thing you won't lose your ass in is gold and silver, because you can't print it. Therefore, it can't be inflated and it can't lose value. So all this COMEX shit is just bullshit. It's not, nobody's selling, nobody sold an ounce of gold, making the price go down. It was strictly options and derivatives like trading places. So it's all bullshit when this price goes down. Always a buying opportunity when the price goes down. And that's it. So anything else before I got to go to the office and bitch about these people who kept me up till 2 a.m. with the TV very loud. I couldn't believe it. It's just like, are these the dumbest people in the world? Rules don't apply to them? They can do what they want. I said to them, I pay a lot in rent. I says, I don't appreciate this. And this is ridiculous. So when you start saying you pay it, so it's either move them out, move me to a new apartment where I can maybe be on the top floor or a quieter area. But this is just bullshit. These people are the rudest people I've ever seen in my life. I've lived in an apartment. I prefer a condo or eventually a house, which will be coming soon. Then you don't have to worry about this bullshit. Anyway, Anything else? All right. Check my email. Yes, sir. I will check it. So I'm going to go to the office. Then I got to go to the grocery store, and then I'm going to go to the pool and work on just swim and do the bike. My foot's better. It moved to my other part. I've never seen. I had my gout in my left foot. It leaves. It goes into my right foot. Starts going to my toes for 4 or 5 days, and now it's right here. But I feel better that it's gout because gout moves around. And when it was on my toes, it stayed on my toes for 3, 4 days. I'm like, is this gout or, what's going on? So anyway, we got to take care of that. And I had barbecue yesterday. I didn't think it would do anything. And French onion soup. I had baked potato. I really don't know what the hell is triggering it. The dark chocolate, maybe, but I've been having that. But I seem to be getting it more. So I think I got to do like a 96-hour fast and really clean, and then just eat avocados and salad and chicken for a week. But I'm not even sure the chicken's good for you because it's all farm raised and nothing's healthy anymore. So anyway, I will check my email. Questions or comments, you can please email me www.teaserking.com. And you get my email like Profit's done and email me, and that's fine. Avoid acidic food. Well, most of the acidic, and let me show you, this is a good video before I leave. This one I highly recommend. Maybe I'll show it. Okay, I highly recommend this one. Kills cancer in 15 hours. This plant, the leaf that destroys cancer cells, why no one is talking about it because they can't make money on it. Please watch this video. It's 22 minutes. It tells you exactly what Profit's saying. It says, what is cancer like? Sugar, no oxygen, and acid. And then it says, what does it hate? Well, don't eat sugar, oxygen, which is what you get in your water, and your workout. So when you're out walking or running or swimming or riding the bike, your body's pumping oxygen through your blood. Cancer hates that. Stay away from the sugar and the white bread and this, Lucky Charms and Kit Kat and M&Ms and Oreos. Stay away from that shit. That's what causes cancer. Cancer needs sugar to survive. It hates oxygen, so you do your workout. And then the acid, but the acid comes from the pop and the processed foods. So that's why if you just go to the store and cook your chicken and cook your steaks and cook your ribs, cook your hamburgers, eat avocado, eat your veggies, you're fine. You won't get cancer. If you do, just do a 3-4 day fast and you'll be fine. And, my friend, his wife has cancer, and I keep sending this to him and he ignores it. I've never seen anybody so strange in my life. Pat, who's in Singapore, our guy in Singapore, his mother had cancer, and I sent him the video and he watched it, and his mother's off cancer. So cancer's simple. They have a cure. It's called don't eat sugar, have plenty of oxygen. So do some workout, walking, running in the pool, and drink a lot of water. And then stay away from pop and the processed foods. And if you can do that, you'll never get cancer. If you do have cancer, just do that and it'll go away. This plant will do it in 15 hours. This was a strange plant, but kills cancer in 15 hours. But you got to catch it early. You can't be really, really sick and then, it won't work. But you try to, if you just stay healthy, like kind of how I eat, I might have gout for some reason, but I, won't have cancer. My blood pressure is good. It's a lot of what you eat is what kills you, is what gives you the disease. When I see fat people, I just shake my head going, man, you're dead. You're diabetic. I know that without being a doctor because you're fat. I mean, that's where the insulin resistant is. That's why your blood pressure's high. That's why you have strokes and heart attacks. So keep thin, keep your blood pressure down. Don't eat sugar. It's not hard. Just don't eat. I never get when I met Luke, we're looking at drinks, and I said, well, I can't drink alcohol because of all the sugar, because I used to work at Canadian Club and they had sugar. So I asked her for pop, but I really don't want the caffeine. So I wanted like caffeine free. I wanted like Diet 7 Up, Diet Sprite, which they don't carry. They only carry Coke, and they have Coke Zero, but there's caffeine in Coke Zero. So I don't really want to drink it. So it's best to just have my water and lemon, and I should start bringing my cinnamon to the restaurants. And that's what I use for flavor. My ginger, my lemon, that's what's in here, lemon and cinnamon. And it's a very healthy water with some taste. Anyway, yeah, I do treat myself to an ice cream once in a while, or to cookies or something, which is fine, but very limited. I'd say once a week, have a chocolate mousse, have an ice cream, have a cake. That's it. You don't want to have it too much, and you certainly don't want to have it 4 or 5 days in a row. I heard baking soda is good for raising pH levels above 7. It might be. I don't know as much. I don't do baking powder, baking soda, but it probably is. It offsets it. So check that out. Show us a video of that, Prophet. But I'll see if she has something on baking soda or baking powder. She doesn't usually have much. She has these plants, but she's in Australia, so it's hard to go to Myers and go, yeah, I want this plant that kills cancer. I mean, they don't have it. Maybe at the health food places they might have it. As you can see, my hair's growing in nicely. It's not thick; it's still thin, but this is not bald anymore. This is hair. And that's from castor oil and coconut oil and just rubbing it on. I rubbed it on this morning, and I got that. I got this little sore here. I rub it on. This little bump here, I rub it on. I'm like rubbing castor oil all over me. I put it on my foot for the gout. I can't tell if it works or not, but psychologically, I like it. Very good, Prophet. Do a search on it. I will check your email. But that's good. If it's baking powder, that's what we like about the class. People know different things. This is like free trade. China knows things we don't. Africa knows things we don't. Switzerland knows things we don't. Mexico knows things we don't. Brazil, and that's what you want. You want everybody to, the U.S. tells us this, and Brazil's telling us that, and this is free trade here. Prophet knows something, bring it to the class. Somebody else, Luke, Bobby, you know something, bring it to the class. And then we all learn from it. And that's free trade. All right, I will leave you. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Buy your gold, buy your silver. You have till July 1st. It's now June 7th. You have basically 3 weeks to buy it before it goes up. And you're going to bitch, shit, I should have bought it now. Anyway. I asked Daria, so I'll leave you with this. I asked Daria, July, let's vacation, and her response is, I'll read you her response. Her response is, I'll think about July for a bit. Okay, love. And she has little face with hearts. I love you. I'm with you. So I asked her, what are you thinking about? Either don't you want to go on vacation with me? She's a little scared of the war, but after going and getting her surgery on her gum, hopefully now she's not as worried. So I'll think about July for a bit. Okay. I don't know if that means I'm thinking about what I need to wear. I need a babysitter for my daughter. I need money. I need to ask work for time off. I don't know what that means. But that's where I'm at with her. So I've asked that. You got to be careful with these foreign girls. Her saying "I want you" means she's serious with me, and Jenna said that too. But if we just look at it in American, it would be "I want you" doesn't really mean okay. Well, I want you too. Or, I'm with you. No, excuse me. If she says I'm with you, she's serious about you. But for us, and I said, I'm with you too. I don't know what it means, but it does. So a lot of when you translate from Russia to America, they don't count the small words. So I'll think about it. I don't know what that means, but then she says, I love you. So that I think means she's with you. Now it could mean I got to plan it. I got to ask for time off and a babysitter and this and that and the other is maybe what she's thinking about. But it doesn't sound American. So we are kind of confused by it. Anyway, that's what's going on. So hopefully we'll meet in July. Not really sure. So anyway, have a nice day. And it's been pretty warm here. So that'll be good. As I say, we always get Ukrainian weather, Russian weather. It was cold here on Sunday, and it was 85 degrees there, and now we got 85 degrees Tuesday. So do the search profit. That's your homework. I'll read your email shortly, and I will respond. All right, everybody, have a great day. Good luck if you bet in baseball. Basketball is tomorrow. Football, we've went over. College, I got to do more deciding where I'll bring in last year's stats. And if the coach is still there, assume like Iowa State's always a good defensive team. They should be a good defensive team this year. And is their quarterback, where did their quarterback go? Is he still there or not? And that's the problem right now with college is the quarterbacks switching teams like Cam Ward did, Uglia Buglia did. And now how are they going to fit? So that makes it even more difficult. So you usually need 3 or 4 games. So I go to the cream week 1. Who's still there? Well, it ain't Ohio State and it ain't Michigan. Alabama gets a new quarterback, but I love their coach. Georgia probably keeps their quarterback. And look for teams like Georgia to get really mad because they didn't win the title. Look for them to have a big year. Notre Dame, they got to replace Riley Leonard. But now with the NIL, they just buy a new quarterback. But how will he fit is the question. All right, I'm going to get going. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.